having a really good blazer. Awesome. What else? Stepping up when you need to, right? Being a leader is about stepping up and stepping forward when you need to. What else? Making sacrifices sometimes, for sure. It's what happens when no one else is doing it, right? Sometimes a leader just needs to step forward because nobody else is willing to. Awesome. What else? Yeah. Say it again. Okay, being kind to people. Yeah, maybe part of being a leader is being kind. One more. Say that again. Not always being the one in charge, right? Sometimes being a leader means stepping forward, sometimes it means stepping back. Awesome. Really great answers. What's really interesting is that I ask this question. I ask this question everywhere I go. And what's really interesting is sometimes we get the same answers, but a lot of the time we get different answers. A lot of the time we get answers based on experiences, based on what people have told us, based on who we are. So it's a question that I'm always interested in learning more about because I love the idea of leadership and what being a leader can mean. It's also the very first question that I was asked that really put me on my leadership journey. And so you guys know that I've been doing this for about seven years or so. But my leadership journey, becoming a leader, really started when I was in grade 10. How many people are in grade 10 right now? Just by a show of hands. So my leadership journey really started when I was in grade 10. When I was in grade 10, I got called down to my guidance office. My guidance counselor looks at me and she goes, "Matt, what does being a leader mean to you?" And I looked at my guidance counselor and I was like, "Am I in trouble?" She goes, "Matt, there's this week-long leadership conference happening, and I've been talking to some of your teachers, and we think that you would be a good fit. We think that you have the potential to become a leader within the school." And I looked at her and I was like, "Seriously though, am I in trouble?" She goes, "What you need to do in order to go, you have to apply. And in order to apply, you have to write a paper on what being a leader means to you." And I'm thinking, no problem, this is going to be great. And I did what we do, I went and started doing some research. I started reading articles about leadership and what being a leader was. And I started to write this paper about what I thought being a leader was, all the qualities and the characteristics of what being a great leader meant. And so I wrote this paper and I spent I'm not kidding, I spent a solid 2 hours on this paper. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. I thought it was going to hand it in. They were going to look at this, they were going to read it, and they were going to go, "Lead me." I thought it was going to be published in Leadership Magazine, right? People from outside my school would come to me and be like, "Lead me." So I handed it in. She goes, "Great, I'll take a look at it, and over the next couple of days, I'll get back to you." So a couple of days go by. My guidance counselor calls me back to the office. But guess what happened? No, I got to go. I told you the paper was amazing. So I actually got to go to this leadership conference, right? And I spent a week learning about what it meant to be a leader. And we were hearing from other speakers and what they were talking about, what leadership meant to them. And we were creating warm fuzzies and making, friendships and all these things. We were doing trust falls, right? It's like when you fall back and someone catches you, but sometimes they don't. And I had this incredible experience, this incredible leadership experience, and I brought that back to my school thinking that I was going to come back and everyone was just going to look to me and say, "Lead us, you're a leader." But that's not what happened. What happened was I got back to school and all of a sudden nobody really understood that experience. Nobody really understood what I had just been through, and nobody was looking to me to lead them. So I went back to my everyday. I went back to just being in high school and dealing with all of the stresses and the challenges that you face when you're in high school. And the whole point of this story isn't that I got to go to this leadership camp or that I, started to learn about what being a leader was. The whole point was that there was someone in my life, at that point in my life, who said, "Matt, I believe in you." Or, "Matt, there are people in your life that believe in you. We believe that you have the potential to be a leader. You have the potential to make a difference within your school or within your community." And that's a message that I think everyone in this room should hear, because everyone in this room has the potential to be a leader. Regardless of who you hang out with or what you you like to do, everybody in this room has the opportunity to make a positive difference in the lives of other people and in your own lives. And what I've learned about this as I've gone through it, and I've learned more about leadership, is I've learned that there's some stages that we go through, especially when we're younger. There's some stages that we go through when it comes to becoming a leader. And that first stage, that first thing we have to do is we have to become aware. We have to become aware that we have the potential to be leaders. And then as we have more experience, as we get to know ourselves a little bit more, we start to adopt. And what I mean by that is we start to look around us and we say, who are the leaders that I know? Who are the leaders in my life? Or the people that I can look to? And what can I learn from them? And how do I take what they are as leaders and use it for myself? That's the second piece. And then as you become more experienced and as you learn more about yourself, you start to adapt. And what I mean by that is you start to look around you and you see, okay, you know what? This person's a really great communicator and I enjoy that and I want to be that as a leader.